just bring in policies too, for sure.
Incidentally, we have several more stories.
The legislature was carefully crafted to
22.2% inflation rates as of April this year. What does that say about where we are as a country?
I think Nigeria has resorted to being resilient.
Before you call the police station, before they even leave, they take permission from
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve.
the struggle with the ASU strike.
Minister of Education volunteered and said, give me 2 weeks.
It was a life. The president never gave me any deadline.
Thank God it's Friday. It's a beautiful Friday morning, and yes, it's Global Television Global Morning on Global Television. It's great to have each and every one of you here, and it's great to be here on the program. Now, today it's a very unique day because we're talking about some very, will I call it, sensitive issue when it comes to women activism. We're looking at the 6-month suspension of the Senate of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Ganga, and of course the return of Obasa to the Lagos State House of Assembly. Many people will find it very controversial, but we'll be delving into these issues right here on Global Morning. But hey, it's Friday. It's a time for you to just sit down, relax, and be happy that the weekend is just around the corner. I am Jumai Manton, and it's great to be here, and it's great to grace your television set today. Now, I might talk a bit about, of course, the 6-month suspension, which individuals in the House have said, okay, it should be reduced to 3 months. It's like a disciplinary procedure on Senator Natasha Akpoti-Ganga. Is it justifiable? For me, I would want to hear views on individuals that will come and talk about this particular issue. Is it justifiable? Is it the masculinity when it comes to men in the House, or is it justifiable? I would like to know, well, when my colleague quickly joins me in the studio. Well, let's quickly go on a very quick break. The program continues shortly. Stay tuned.
Do you know that Global Television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch Global Television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
A Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper reviews and latest news with experts on key global issues,
and at the same time keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning. You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is Global Morning on Global Television, and like I mentioned, my co-host is just around the corner who wanted to get all the deets when it comes to the issue of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Ganga, of course, in the suspension and issues that happened in the House. But of course, people will say, Juma, you're being, because it's a women affairs issue, but at the same time, let's just strike a balance. In order for peace to reign, we need to move on, because we know the issues that this will cause in the country. Let me not call it a national disaster, because women in their activism will definitely come out and say, okay, what's going on? Like we saw what played out in Cross River State, Calabar, when the women came out and said that in support of course, the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio. We saw that individuals like, are you kidding me? Remember, she's saying she's from Kogi State. A lot of people have their own particular opinion when it comes to this matter at hand. But let me just introduce my co-host, not the person than Godwin Sunday. How are you doing?
I'm very fine.
So all the compilation of the videos in which you've gotten on this particular clip, are you trying to prove a point or something?
Not at all, but trying to look at it from different perspective. But first, good morning, Nigerians, and good morning to all our viewers around the world. Now, let's even talk about Natasha's case in this particular light. We've seen a lot of allegations and counter-allegations.
Very true.
And the last time we spoke about this issue on Global Morning, you were agitated. You were in support for she for she, and
of course, so I'm a woman. What do you expect?
So all of this conversation, and we've seen what has played out. Of course, most of the Senator Moro was saying that they should reduce the sentence instead of saying 6 months. They should reduce to 3 months. And other senators have said they still let's reduce it, but 6 months still stand based on what the disciplinary committee have said so far. True. But if we want to look at it from a very holistic perspective, it is for national good, national interest. The institution of the Senate needs to be protected. It needs to uphold certain standards which has formed the Senate over the years. So we won't throw the Senate into a kangaroo republic where anything can just go.
So, I understand.
So I understand all of this that they are trying to put in place, but then again, some of the penalties that follows the suspension is what I think is not fair on her, because at this point she's not supposed to represent the country.
Exactly.
She cannot serve as a senator in her capacity. She can't have access to the National Assembly for 6 months, and
strip off her bodyguard.
So all of those concerns is disturbing.
It's really disturbing. But for as much as you said, there is not a kangaroo republic, which is true. I understand that law and order must be put in place when it comes to issues of the Senate. But at the same time, I think they should strike a balance. Of course, we know that the Senate President has crossed the line, not once, not twice, not thrice. But at the same time, in order for national good, for as much as this disciplinary action is going to be in place, which I understand, which is a norm, it's normal, because you cannot talk back to the Senate President. He is above you. It doesn't matter even if you're a senator or not. He is the Senate President, I understand. But at the same time, they say respect is reciprocal. I give you respect and you give me respect. Is very important. You should not cross the line. I think the 6 months suspension is way a long time. I think I stand with 3 months. I think there should be disciplinary action because of the fact that she stood up and there was a confrontation which the Senate President, they were actually telling her, calm down. She would have just kept quiet. Like I said, there are ways in which you can pass your message in a very civil way. Sometimes when your voice is louder than the tone, it makes you, even when you're right, you seem wrong. Like this matter now, I feel and I know that she's a woman. She knows when she's being sexually harassed by the men folk. Please don't quote me anywhere. But at the same time, there's a more liberal and just way to pass a message without all of this drama coming into. But we're going to be looking at clips, right, Godwin?
Yeah.
So I do think you should tell us about those clips we'll be looking at.
All right, so we'll look at some clips even from the Senate where the deliberation happened and all of those, even the Senate President had to come out to speak to say that she's a family friend. He's close to the husband.
The husband, yes.
I think they have some form of a relationship kind of with the family. prior to this time. I think what have escalated, what have even made this conversation to escalate to this much is the fact that Senator Natasha had to go to a media house to speak. Of course, millions of people had to watch a matter that has been subjected to a disciplinary committee of the Senate. I should think that fair hearing will be served. And first, you're demanding that the fair hearing should go public. It should be covered. There should be live transmission of the hearings. Senate business, when it has to do with this, is supposed to be closed doors. To deal with whatever issues you have to deal with, then the findings and the outcome will be made public, like what we've seen so far. So all of those clips and some of those videos of what transpired in the National Assembly will be made available to us even this morning in the course of the show. But then again, looking at all of this conversation.
Yes, I just want to add a bit to what you just said. Now, you know, the Senate President came out and he says that he's closer to the husband than even Natasha. They are very close family friends and all of that. Then that is why you won't have acted in that manner. I think it's not just, blame should not just be on one individual. Looking at Senator Natasha, for instance.
But when you even look at it, he wasn't speaking even in that. It wasn't the one that raised the motion. It wasn't even speaking. Natasha was like, you're trying to show. When watch the video last time.
I know, I understand all of that. But you know, he has crossed the line. He has crossed the line when he mentioned that this is not a nightclub.
Okay.
From your family, I keep bringing that in because that is part of the aggression that caused all of this. I keep telling, and that is the truth. Of course, we heard from what she said. She's been sexually harassed. It's not once, it's not twice. And you're trying to shut me down. You know, she said that for as much as disciplinary action is going to take place, oh, fine, it's okay because an example needs to be set. You need to understand that there are rules. Even as a senator, you should understand that you're not above the law. So I have no problem with that. But it's the process. That's the problem. That's where I have a problem. As in, what is going, as in the outcome of all of this. That's just where it's just Jumai Manson saying that now. But I have no problem with facing disciplinary action, even if 1 year. Well, it's fine. But let it be justifiable and let it be fair. Not because I'm a woman and because
let's not escalate it to 1 year.
I'm just saying of course she's going to be good because she said that's where you know a true leader, when she says I will still perform, I will still do the right thing when it comes to my constituents, when it comes to the people. She's a people's person, so she's going to rep. You know, it's very important. Of course, I'm not being very emotional because she's from Kogi State. Please move out.
I didn't get that part of the story. I've got the WhatsApp group.
But the fact that she will still do her diligent duties, it shows that she has a mandate and she wants to perform when it comes to, she's a people's person. She is a true leader. So even if you say I won't represent Nigeria, all of that, but I will do the little I can within my reach. It speaks a lot of volume. I don't know. It speaks a lot of volume for me.
Well, so for me, another angle to this story is the angle around the fact that most female senators, like it's Agiwa, we've seen her come out. Most of them have come out to say, of course, they've been maligned, they've been sexually harassed, and most of them are even not given the equal opportunity to represent their constituencies, which is why they are in the office. Now, we've seen all of this conversation. So when we begin to ask, why have senators, perhaps this is why Senator Oluremi Tinubu was able to come out to speak out on Dino and Senator Dino Melaye when they had that confrontation. Of course, it was a heated argument. All of this, could it be a build-up, even in the Nigerian Senate? What's going on in the Nigerian Senate? Because we need all of this. Natasha is now put into the public,
bringing out the kind of worms.
So what's going on there? That they don't allow us to speak, they don't allow me to contribute.
Yeah, it just shows that when they say it's a man's world, I think that for me, I think that is what is playing out. That women in the Senate, and they just feel they're for, and it shows that it's very tough to be in the Senate if you're there as a woman. One of the senators, a woman, she said, I'm trying to remember her name. It's Itagua also. Yes, I think she says once you are a senator as a woman, you do not see yourself as a woman anymore. You're like a man now because you're all on that seat. And you know that seat is a very, very hot seat because it has a lot of responsibilities on your shoulders. And for that, alone, it shows that you are a man also. But with all of these kind of worms coming out, it shows that women are not given equal opportunities. Of course, you said we've had heated issues with Senator Tinubu, and of course Dina Malai, and now this. And you know, there are many more which we do not know of. These are just one of a few that every worm is just actually coming out. So it just shows that are women really given equal opportunities when they are on the same pedestal as men? That is the question. That is a take home for each and every one of us. Let us know that women are they being maligned when it comes to issues like this. But let's go on a very quick break, and the program continues shortly. Do not go anywhere. Stay tuned.
Do you know that global television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch global television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
All right, you're welcome back from that very quick break. And yes, it's Global Morning. And we're just looking, I want to quickly delve into another issue before we come back into Senator Natasha Akpoti-Oganga's issue. Of course, we're going to play you some clips for you to be well abreast with the issues in which we're talking about. Talking about the Lagos State House of Assembly, the return of Obasa. What's your take on that issue? Like, seriously, some individuals were very emotional. I don't want to mention any name, that almost cried talking about this particular issue. It's a very emotional issue that Obasa came back strong, and it shows that there was a clip I saw, and when he was going into the court, the Conqueror, that song was playing at the background. Like, really, what did GAC play in all of this when it comes to this particular issue? Do you think it's fair, really?
Well, to a very large extent, we've seen GAC intervene in Lagos State politics, and they've been able to cross the T's and dot the I's, ensure that there's a balance. So, whichever side of the divide the balance is falling, it's for GAC to decide.
That's the Governor Advisory Council
in Lagos State, and they've been, that body is so strong, it's so powerful, that they can unseat the sitting governor. Yeah, so as soon as GAC intervened in that issue, at the point President Tinubu was mute on this, the whole of this drama playing out in Lagos State, because the Advisory Council need to go into the APC Governor's Advisory Council have to go into it, look at it, and decide what they want and brief the president on their decision. So in this case, most Lagosians will say the same thing that happened to Ambode has replayed again, which is sad.
Which is really sad
in Lagos, because if we have, like just we're talking about Natasha's issue, if we have a duly elected speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly by majority members of the House, not 1/3, above 2/3 majority of the House gave their support for her to be the Speaker of the House. I think it is an aberration. It is an abuse of democratic principles.
Very true.
For a council to sit, for people to sit. I was even brought back in the first place.
Exactly. How was it brought back?
It doesn't add up. And prior to when he was returned, I was hoping that we can get an injunction.
After 48 days.
I was thinking I would get an injunction from different courts reinstating him. But we've seen him held plenary with minority,
like nothing was going on.
Nothing, and
like really,
we see all dramas that are playing out in Lagos State, and to a very large extent, the president was mute in all of this conversation. He wasn't talking. One would think, as the leader of the people of the All Progressive Congress (APC), president would have come out to say, "Okay, this is it," or would have seen the body language of the president that infers that this is this. So we didn't get all of those movements, but all we saw is the return of, like you said, the conqueror is here.
That was what we saw. That was actually playing out. It's just unfortunate. People just felt it was injustice on the part of Miranda. It was really, injustice actually played out. But it just shows how very strong the APC is, and of course, GAC, when he says the Governor Advisory Council, how strong they are in matters like this. But I would no comment. I would say no comment. But let's quickly look at clips from Senator Natasha Akpoti-Ganga. Let's quickly talk more about it because it's very dear to heart to me. Very sensitive issue. Let's go and look at some clips as they play out. Really looking at this and talking about the fairness of this particular issue. Stay tuned. Do not go anywhere.
This injustice will not be sustained. The pursuit for justice.
Because even the senator we are discussing is the wife of my very close friend and brother. So I thought. On the day of our marriage, I slept in Kogi in her house. 2021 or 22. The next day, I ran to Ubajana Airport. I missed my flight because the plane could not land since there had no light. So I ended up sleeping at Dangote Cement Factory with 9 people. So I spent 3 days. Please give me a chance to say something. Even when Senator Webby attempted to say that he was present in the same car, the social media said he was lying. But you see, we have been taken to the floor. We have been dragged to the floor. I have a responsibility to look at the rules of the Senate. I don't interpret the rules. Senate do suspend Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan for 6 months for a total violation of the Senate Standing Rules 2023 as amended, for bringing the presiding officer and the entire Nigerian Senate in general to public opprobrium. Those in support of prayer will say aye, aye. Those against say nay. I put the question. Those in support of prayer will say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. That for the Senate to consider lifting the suspension or reducing the tenor of suspension, Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan shall submit a written apology to the Senate before any reconsideration of this case by the Senate. Those in support of prayer to say aye. Those against say nay. No. The ayes have it. Prayer 3, liberalism. Prayer 3, that the Senate do suspend Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan with effect from 6th day of March 2025 from all legislative activities forward. Those in support of prayer 3 say aye, aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 4, that her office be locked up for the duration of this suspension, and she should hand over all Senate properties in her possession to the clerk of the National Assembly. Those in support of prayer 4 say aye, aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 5, that for the duration of her suspension, she cannot come or be seen within the vicinity of the National Assembly, including her staff. But this is normal. Those in support of prayer 5 say aye. Those against say nay. Again, the ayes have it. Prayer 6, that our salaries and allowances, including those of our legislative aides, be suspended and withdrawal of all security details for the duration of our suspension.
Well, I am speechless by all of this when it comes to the eyes are always having it. Really, Godwin, are you kidding me right now?
But the eyes must always have it. So, at least we give it to the nose. Let's give it to the eyes.
But of course, that's why the court is there. She can always go to court and appeal because, you know, in the Constitution, it shows you can only be suspended for 14 days. But now that it's going to linger to 6 months, and we don't know how long that will be. I mean, she's a very tough woman. Kogites were very tough individuals. You won't stand down. But at the same time, I said disciplinary conditions should be there, but it shouldn't prolong to this much. Just to set an example for others, you know, of course, there will be other senators that will be coming up. Like you said, it's not a kangaroo republic, so there are laws that needs to be followed. But 6 months, I just feel it's a long time. And what happened to investigations? There were no investigations carried out as far as I'm concerned. We didn't see it. Did you see any investigation carried out to know whether it's right to give this particular action on Natasha Akpoti? Why is the Senate avoiding any form of investigation? It beats me.
Well, I think for once, they will say it was an open confrontation. As such, there was no need for investigation based on the Senate rule.
Really?
So what they've done is that they've applied the rules of natural justice, which is the first one is Audi Altero Patem, and the other one is Nemo Dat Quod Not Habet or something like that. Nemo Judesa Incasasua or something like that. That is, the first one is you must listen to both parties. So that's what they've done. They've listened to both sides of the argument. Was what the disciplinary committee have done.
Listened to both sides of the party.
So I think it's some to say that it's not their job to go out and do investigation and do findings of what transpired between behind closed doors. What they can only investigate is what has been seen, what has been heard, and what can be confirmed based on the Evidence Act. Him that alleges must prove beyond reasonable doubt, but in the civil case you can prove beyond all shadows of doubt based on the preponderance of evidence available to the Nigerian Senate. So they can say, you can rely on those submissions and say, okay, we were in the House, we've seen Natasha confront the Senate President, and this is a violation of certain rules of the Senate, like the Senate President have said in the amended rules of 2023 of the Senate. All of this playing out, these are visible evidence that they have seen, so it can lead them to say, okay, if there are other allegations that have been made about on the rights being trampled upon, those are secondary conversations for the Senate. But my fear in all of this conversation is the fact that is the Senate 6 months actually 6 months? Will the people of Kogi Central be automatically silenced, even on the floor of the Senate? Because what this implies is we won't get any contribution. There is no impact for the people, good people of the Kogi Central at this point. There will be no representation. Their voices will not be heard.
So it affects each and every one of us.
It is going to affect that constituency. We're shutting down a whole constituency for a period of 6 months, which we are not sure that is going to be, because Natasha, being who she is, will likely not write the apology. I'm not. I know Kogi. I don't want to.
You're sitting close to one. How sure? We're very humble people. See me smiling all through.
No, the Kogites will always confront. Look, the way she was approaching, look at the way she spoke to the mic, and she walked out. And she was just doing it. She wasn't feeling any form of. There was no form of remorse.
She knows her rights has been trampled upon in her own mind. She's a very strong woman and very beautiful as well.
Yeah, you always say that she's beautiful.
That's beauty.
The professional we know, we've seen her come out to speak, would likely not write an apology to a Nigerian Senate.
But never say never, though, because like I mentioned, she's a woman that is people-oriented. She's the voice of the individuals of that constituency. So in order for peace to reign, that's why I said never say never. You might just do something for the sake of an individual. All right. Okay, you might just do something because of the sake of individuals. That's what I feel. Just never say never. All right, now let's just delve into the newspaper review. Let's go on a very quick break. Up next is newspaper review. Like I mentioned before, don't go anywhere. Stick around. All right, you're welcome back. And if you're just tuning in, this is Global Morning. And what took you so long? Have you missed so much? A little bit, but thank God you're here now. And of course, like I mentioned, is a newspaper review segment, and we'll be starting with the Blueprint newspaper. And above the nameplate of the new Blueprint newspaper, it says, "Court orders permanent forfeiture of $1.4 million fraud linked to Emefiele." And then below that caption there, it says, "Tinubu grants automatic employment to 774 national health fellows." And on the business, it says, "Dangote Group tops taxpayer list with 402 billion naira remittance in 2024. And you can find that read on page 10. And in sports, Super Falcons retain 36th position in FIFA ranking. And the star story there, Natasha Akpoti-Ganga kicks as Senate slams her 6 months suspension. And the writer there says, "Loses all privileges, Arewa CSOs back Akpabio. Senate President must step aside for transparent probe, CNPP CSOs." And now you can find that read on page 16. Please go out and get yourself a copy. And here it says the weekend promo, the Igalas, Buresi, and the 16th century war with Jukuns. Anambra Global, INEC urges 7 parties to submit schedules of primaries. And the ticket there says APC settlers for indirect mode. And below the Blueprint paper, it says, "Troops neutralize 92 terrorists, rescue 75 hostages in 1 week." That's from Defense Headquarters, DHQ. And the writer there says, "CAS visits Zamfara, airstrikes victims, takes responsibility." And below all of that, the foot of the paper, it says, 3 to die by hanging, surgical castration in Kaduna for rape. And CBN cuts interest rate on T-bills below 18%. Igbo group dismisses report of alleged attack on truck drivers. That's on page 13. And basically that's it. And it says NECO acquires 700 million naira high performance result processing machine. I want to see how well that will play out. And basically that is it on the Blueprint newspaper. Please go out and get yourself a copy. But one of the, of course, a lot of issues that tickled my fancy on this particular newspaper is Natasha Akpoti Ganga kicks Senate slams her 6 months, especially. We've talking about this since all morning, and I'm sure that's one of the major news making rounds. It's just unfortunate that she has been denied all privileges, not minding how it affects the people in her constituency. It's just unfortunate there. I'm not saying disciplinary action should not be taken because there is law when it comes to the Senate, but at the same time there should be a balance. Both parties, their egos were bruised. She's a senator. She's not just an ordinary citizen. She's a senator. So I think a little bit of respect should be given to her at this point, not, And then, of course, here it says 3 die by hanging, surgical castration in Kaduna for rape. Do you think it's enough? For rape. Rape is a very serious issue. It takes a toll on the victim. It's just unfortunate that most people still go into this. Self-control, they say it's key, but most do not have that. So I think this is the right step for others to learn that you will not go free when it comes to rape in Kaduna. So kudos to that. I'm very happy with that, though. And then, of course, what other news picture interest here?
All right. So for me, even on the story, but first when I saw the Kaduna story of rape, where you just mentioned right now, I feel for one that if we go by the evidence, by the criminal code, which I think rape still stands around 14 years in prison.
Yes, it does.
So if implementations of all of these acts that have been enacted is seen through, and I think that we can also put our feet down on corrupt politicians and get them also prosecuted even before a competent court of law, because that conversation is straining and is draining. We were talking the other day about Senator, the former governors of Nigeria, and about 12 governors in Nigeria whose cases have become smoke. They've disappeared. We've looked at Governor Rochas Okorocha, we've looked at that of Obiano, we've looked at that of the former governor of Akwa Ibom State, the 2 former governors of Akwa Ibom State, Godswill Akpabio, Udom Emmanuel. We've looked at that of Delta State, Okowa. All of these conversations are begging for answers. Can we get, if the energy we're putting in resolving issues that has to do with the common Nigerians, can we also put the same energy in confronting issues that border with corruption?
I totally agree. And you see, some of these politicians who are not, they are supposed to be answerable to us, are already in political positions, even heading a particular seat and all of that. We do not get answers. And then when it comes to the common man, I'm not saying rape is a good thing. It's bad in all levels, please. But at the same time, there should be the same energy you put into that when it comes to the Nigerian that you do not even know, when it comes to robbers, when it comes to fraudsters, ritualists, and all of that. I think politicians should be part of that cycle when it comes to taking that particular law. You're absolutely right. I completely agree with you, Godwin. I do, completely, 100%.
Yeah. All right, at least
for once
we are on the same page.
We're on the same page. For once we're on the same, but sometimes we're always on the same page.
Okay, no, but not in Kogi.
Exactly. Not in Kogi. When it comes to women matters, that's the matter of the heart. That's a woman's
constituency.
Of course. Are you kidding? You have support for women all the way, but at the same time, for as much as you want to support women, the right thing should be done. But there should be a balance so that everyone will come out happy. That's the thing. When we've not gotten to that part, but at least I read a little bit of the headline. So it's better because you are an exemplary person. People are watching. Individuals are watching. Let's see, how is this going to play out? Are there rifts? Are they trying to mend fences so that everyone can move on? So that people, because this if it's not well handled, it will cause a serious problem. You'll be shocked that people in Kogi State will just, anyone from Akwa Ibom, you just give the person a slap. Hey, things like that. But at least let it just be handled, well, so that everyone will carry on and do the right thing. Remember, at the long run, you're there because of the people. We put you there with our votes. You're representing the people. It's very important. All right, the next, let's jump into the next paper, and Godwin will be running us through that.
All right, so we're going straight to Nigerian News Direct. And above the nameplate, we have quite a few stories we have here. We just above the nameplate, we have produced over 3,200 professionals under GMAP initiative in 3 years. That's a union UBA speaking. And just above that, we have Nigerian officially joins European Bank for Reconstruction and Development. You can find that read in the Nigerian News Direct. And also by your right, we have Emefiele court orders forfeiture of $1.4 million illegal proceeds. You can find that read on page 23 of Nigerian News Direct. And also we have here Ikeja electricity attack. Union kicks threatens to shut down. You can find that read on page 9 of the Nigerian Direct newspaper. We can also find stock market, and in business we have stock market records first gain in March after consecutive losses. You can find that read on page 5 of a News Direct. Also, they have on the star story here, we have sexual harassment allegation. Injustice won't be sustained. Natasha Ford Senate suspension, and it comes with a rider that says Ezekwesili criticizes Senate for avoiding investigation, just like what we've been saying here. Even here on the Global Morning. And we have another rider that says Senate should be a place of honor, not controversy. That's coming from the wife of the president, Senator Oluremi Tinubu. You can find that read on page 21 of the Nigerian News Direct. All right, so we have just here at the bottom of the paper, we have NIMASA calls for review of war risk surcharge of Nigerian bound cargoes. That's still on business. NIMASA calls for review of war risk surcharge of Nigerian bound cargoes. You can find that on that Nigerian News Direct. So do well to go out there and get yourself a copy of Nigerian News Direct to be abreast of what is going on in the country. Up next is the Vanguard, and Jumai will be taking us through.
All right. Very interesting story on the Vanguard. I was just going through, and you could hear me laughing, because we're going to get to the part where I was laughing. And above the nameplate of the Vanguard, it says power generation raises to 30% amid challenges. And now it says Simon Ekpa, others sanctioned for alleged terrorism financing. Now, Autonomy, Algon asks local government chairman to approach CBN for documentation. And below the nameplate of the Vanguard, it says Senate suspends Senator Akpoti Uganga for 6 months. And the writer there reads, bars her from premises of the National Assembly, her office to be locked up for the entire period of her suspension. All her salaries and allowances be suspended. And then she says, my suspension invalidates principles of natural justice, fairness. That's Akpoti Uganga. And now he says, resubmits sexual harassment petition against Akpabio, and that's the Senate there. And he said, should revisit Akpabio Uganga's suspension. LP says, we're not in Banana Republic, or where lawyers fault suspension despite court order. And that's the star story, and please go out and get yourself a read on, and this is on page 5. And it says Finance Minister at the NNPC Towers, Abuja, and here it says Tinubu launches National Health Fellowship Program. And again, we keep going back and forth on this matter, the Rivers crisis. Militant group spits fire, threatens oil production, and you can find that on page 3. Now, at the foot of the Vanguard, it says Rep move to strip INEC of power to regulate political parties. And you can find that on page 9. And blackout, it says angry Air Force personnel invade Ikeja Disco's batter employees. You can find that on page 6. Pardon me. Pardon me for laughing at that. And then, of course, here it says sports FIFA ranking. Falcons remain Africa's number 136 in the world. And then there's a carton of Mr. and Mrs. there, but you have to go out and get yourself a copy of the Vanguard. And of course, angry Air Force personnel invade Ikeja discuss and batters. It's like, so, I'm not saying he's right, but I think he has gotten to a level that they're tired. If I'm protecting lives and property, why will you actually stop electricity? So it's just unfortunate that I'm just partying, but really looking at it, what's your take on that, Gordon? Because you're just looking at me and wondering. Like, seriously.
We were talking, there's a video making around where a military personnel was in the bush and was like, I'm always in the bush for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. This is my house. And I get to town and you're telling me to obey traffic lights. It's not going to work.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, so when you said that they've been in the war fronts and confronting terrorists and doing something,
are you kidding me?
And they return back home to come and sleep in a total heat.
Exactly.
That's really not fair.
All right, let's quickly move to the next paper, The Nation, because of our time. And Godwin, please run us through that.
All right, so let's just talk to The Nation. Above the nameplate here, we have Senate suspend Akpoti Uduaghan for 6 months. You can find that read that, I think, on all national dailies this morning. And so you can find that on page 4. Tinubu hires 774 health care volunteers. You can find that read on page 2 to know if your local government is part of it. So that's what the health minister have come out to say. We also have a story here but says Air Force men invade Ikeja Disco over power cuts to NAF base. And we have another story here that says Sanwo-Olu cautions landlord over arbitrary rent increase. Please, that caution should go round.
It should not just Lagos, especially Abuja.
It should increase the volume because the volume is still low.
It's very low.
The volume is low.
Someone was telling me a 1-bedroom apartment, some of these estates, it goes over 2.5 million naira.
That's
a 3-bedroom,
that's cheap.
3.5, and if it's a 2-bedroom, that's 1 bed. I'm telling you, 2.5 million. Per annum. And then if it's a 2-bedroom, it's 3.5. Some will tell you 4.5. And then yesterday, a friend of mine went to a particular estate, and the owner, he came out bluntly and he said, if you're going to rent this apartment, it's 5 million naira. It's a 3-bedroom apartment. It's 5 million naira. If you want to, and you must pay 2 years, which is 4.5 million naira. So I'm collecting 2 years. If you cannot afford 2 years, please go somewhere else. It's my house.
So what we need to increase this volume. People, those behind cannot hear him right now.
Really?
Those behind cannot hear him.
Really, they cannot.
Also, we have a star story here that says, that's below the nameplate. It says, Supreme Court, no evidence, 27 Rivers lawmaker defected. No evidence. Okay. That's a very interesting story. At the foot of it, we have a story here that says, CBN eyes $25 billion from Shrinker's Theater. That's a story here also on the foot. It said EFCC squeezes ex-minister Uju Onyenehi. That's on page 81 of the Nation newspaper. Go out there and get yourself a copy. And of course, interesting stories in the Nation. Up next is the Punch newspaper.
All right, the Punch newspaper says marketers worry as 5-month fuel imports hit 6 trillion naira, and you can find that read on page 81. And it says Nigerians pay highest airfares in Africa. I do not. That's extremely true. NCCAA, and you can find that read on page 82. Rivers crisis, police vow to crush militants threatening oil production, and you can find that on page 2. And besides the Punch, it says federal government designates Simon Ekpa, 16 others terrorism funders. And the Star Story 6-month suspension. Of course, we read that about Natasha Kogi. Senators, lawyers say suspension illegal, I believe. PDP kicks, Senate insists its rules violated. And below that says Sanwo-Olu opens new road, promises more infrastructure. Well done to the governor there. And it says litigation won't stop Alaafin coronation, Makinde. I can find that on page 91. And it says 4 billion naira debt. Air Force men attack Ikeja discos, brutalizes Punchman, others. Although I'm not in support, it's a very funny story, but I'm not in support of, doing that to individuals. Alleged fraud, ex-minister detained in the FCC facilities. But you have to just go out and get yourself a copy of the Punch newspaper, like Godwin said, to be more abreast with the stories making round. Up next is This Day. Quickly now.
All right, so above the main plate we have Cardoso National Theatre catalyst to unlocking $25 billion potential in creative industry. All right, you can find that story on This Day newspaper. Still above the main plate we have IWD FGOK's Tech Committee on Financial Education for Women. You can find that story on page 8 of This Day newspaper. And just the star story here says Senate suspends Akpoti Uduaghan. Akpabio gives window for reconciliation, and it comes with quite a lot of riders which you need to go out there to get yourself a copy. And just below the star story we have official launch of Abuja Creative City, and it comes with a picture here, and that's it on This Day newspaper. You can go out there and get yourself a copy to know what's going on even in the country right now. And up next is Daily Trust newspaper.
And that's the last paper on the newspaper review, the Daily Trust. And below the nameplate on day 7 says 12 Zamfara vigilantes die in crash with bandits. And it says Ramadan Sharia Council defends school closure in northern states. Nigerian laws 94 trillion naira to business closures, multinational divestments, and in that is NESG. And the star story says transport fare remain high despite petrol price drop. And that's very true. Despite the petrol price drop, transport fare have even gone up. Some will tell you nothing has changed, just a few.
Most drivers said it's just 20 naira.
It's just 20 naira. But really it's something. 20 naira do. Well, 20 naira, but really it's something. It's something.
And the interesting part is that most drivers have converted their cars to CNG.
Yes, I even saw one. In fact, that's a topic for another day.
We'll come back to that.
We'll come back to that after the AM news. Yeah. And alleged sexual harassment. Senate suspends Natasha for 6 months. It's almost on all the papers making round. And it says Benue Varsity students regained freedom after 8 days in captivity. EFCC quizzes ex-woman affairs minister over alleged 138 million naira fraud. 6 killed as fuel tanker explodes in Nigeria. You can find that read on page 7 of the Daily Trust. And that's it on the newspaper review segment. Up next is the AM News. Don't go anywhere. It's still Global Morning. That global television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world.
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch global television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
A Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper reviews and latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to AM News on Global Television. It's coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Jumai Manson. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365, Star Times channel 276, and you can download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS device to keep track of our broadcast. Now the news in full. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has decorated 6 newly appointed Deputy Inspector General of Police and 1 Assistant Inspector General of Police following the recent retirement of 6 veteran DIGs on March March 3rd, 2025. Now, according to a statement from Force headquarters, the newly appointed DIGs bring extensive experience from various commands and departments within the Nigerian Police Force. During the ceremony, the IGP congratulated the newly promoted officers, urging them to uphold integrity, professionalism, and service in their leadership roles. He emphasized the importance of inspiring confidence within the force and among citizens they are sworn to protect. President Bola Tinubu has assured all 774 fellows under the newly launched National Health Fellows Program of automatic employment after their one-year tenure. In April 2024, Tinubu approved the National Health Fellows Program, a key initiative under his Renewed Hope agenda to enhance accountability and efficiency in healthcare delivery. The fellows, who have been undergoing training since February 27, 2025, under the Sector-Wide Approach Coordination Office, will spend the next year monitoring primary healthcare centers across Nigeria's 774 local government areas. The Commandant General of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, has called on officers nationwide to intensify efforts in protecting critical national assets and tackling emerging security threats. The Commandant General stated this known during the Corps' quarterly general meeting, where he emphasized the need for a more robust and vibrant operational strategy. Ramsey Enoch has more.
The quarterly meetings serve as a platform for top officers of the NSCDC to assess past efforts, identify challenges, and strategize for improved security operations. In his address, the Commandant General commended the officers for their dedication, but urged them to strengthen their resolve in tackling issues such as vandalism, illegal mining, terrorism, and farmer-herder clashes.
To commend your efforts over the years, especially in directing and coordinating the Corps' various operational activities.
The CG highlighted the growing connection between banditry and illegal mining, stressing that criminals are exploiting these activities to fund their operations. He called for a more coordinated approach to curb this threat. He further emphasized the importance of accountability among commanding officers, urging them to be proactive in intelligence gathering and operational execution.
He is also pleased to continue to, do a job, to continue to provide security for critical assets and infrastructure. And in doing this, the Corps is going to continue to collaborate. Like I used to say each time I mount the podium, that it is this time around we have seen very clearly that the 3 Cs are very, very highly operational, in nature: cooperation, collaboration, and coordination.
With Nigeria facing evolving security challenges, the NSCDC leadership insists that strengthening operational capacity and staying ahead of criminal elements remain top priority. Ramsey Enoch reporting for Global TV News.
President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, has categorically denied allegations of sexual harassment made against him by Senator Natasha Akpote-Uduaghan, which is now before a court of competent jurisdiction. Akpabio's denial comes amidst a backdrop of political tension and public debate, with some calling for his resignation and others defending his integrity. Samuel Odi completes the report.
The President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, at the start of the preliminary section emphasized that he has always upheld respect for women and recognized them as most gender-friendly governor in Nigeria during his tenure. He urged the public to await the court's decision on the matter rather than drawing conclusions prematurely.
I and my siblings were raised very well by my late single mother. She died in year 2000. Through very difficult times, and I therefore have the highest regards for women. even her demise, I still cry till today. I also wish to state that I also have 4 beautiful daughters. So at no time will I ever harass any woman, and I've never done so.
Meanwhile, a petition submitted by Senator representing Kogi Central, Natasha Akpoti, caused a stir in the Senate chamber.
The petition is in my name against the President of the Nigerian Senate, His Excellency Senator Godswill Akpabio, for sexual harassment, abuse of office, and malicious obstruction of my legislative functions. You may recall, sir, that on Friday in Arise TV, I did make some statements. And I have decided to narrow these statements in a formal petition against the President of this Senate. So if it may please you, I would humbly step forward and lay this petition.
You may proceed.
Chief Whip of the Senate, Mohammed Mogono, had called on the Senate to reject petitions citing that the matter of sexual harassment was before the court. Mogono further stressed that any deviation from the standing rules is an invitation to chaos and anarchy.
And my ultimate destination is that our rules in very clear and unambiguous terms in Rule 40 and specifically Rule 7 states that Senate should not receive or deliberate on any matter to which actions are pending in any court of law. And for your information, Mr. President, distinguished senators.
Reacting, Senator Akpoti clarified that the matter before the court was on defamation of character by an aide of the Senate President who posted comments suggesting she was inappropriately dressed in the preliminary.
The matter before the court is on the defamation and cyberbullying statements made by your special assistant on new media, Mr. Patrick Umfom, who addressed my decent outfits as transparent, thereby depicting that I walk sedulously and naked to the chambers. That is the nature of the petition of the case in court. This petition, sir, has never been filed. The petition that alleges, or should I say, accuses you of making sexual harassment moves, abusing your office, and making malicious obstructions to my legislative functions has not been tendered anywhere before, no court in Nigeria. So, sir, I would appreciate if you kindly accept my petition and forward same to the Ethics and Privileges Committee. So it.
Meanwhile, the Senate has suspended Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uganga representing Kogi Central for a period of 6 months. Decision followed the recommendations of the Senate Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Public Petitions, which found her guilty of misconduct and failure to appear before the committee. The suspension stems from allegations of sexual harassment that Akpoti-Uganga leveled against Senate President Godswill Akpabio. The Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, has appealed to the Nigerian public to comply with traffic laws and regulations with a view to reducing high rates of crashes on the roads. The FRSC spokesman Olusegun Ogunbamidele says the public support and cooperation is essential in ensuring a safe and secured motoring environment. Ogunbamidele, who expressed concern over the high rate of casualties on Nigerian roads, attributed it to impunity and disregard for traffic laws. The federal government has launched the National Electronic Asset and unveiled compendium on federal account revenue allocation to federal, state and local government in Abuja. Speaking at the event, Minister of State for Finance Doris Uzoka-Annette says the initiative represents a substantial advancement towards transparent and accountable public asset management and adhering to international standards. Kike Lomo Okere was there for Global TV.
Assets are the backbone of the economy for government, while public assets are the significant part of its balance sheet, influencing not just the financial position, however, it is also the ability to deliver service to citizens. The Minister of State for Finance stated that the initiative is to implement ideas, strategies, and measures to promote transparency, accountability, and probity in the management and disbursement of the federal account.
Today we have a lot of assets, but locked down in different places, different books in different agencies, but not one single balance sheet or financial statement that can actually tell us the true health of the country. Because that's what the financial statement really does, is to tell the health of our asset, because this is basically what we're doing. Quantify the asset, value the asset, and put it on a piece of paper where all of us can see, and then begin to do a number of things with it. I think it's a...
The Accountant General of the Federation, Oluwatoyin Medin, says the National Electronic Assets Register is designed to give real-time access to information about the assets owned by the federal government of Nigeria, adding that the digital registry will increase transparency as well as serve as a central point where policymakers and government can assess and track the nation's assets.
Aligns with the federal government commitment to ensuring that the management of public funds and assets is carried out in the most transparent and an accountable manner. Become a useful tool for investment decisions.
She says the compendium will provide a detailed breakdown of revenue allocation to the 3 tiers of the government and serve as a vital tool for policymakers.
It's a compilation of the revenue allocation from January 2020 to 2023, December 2023. And it is a very useful document for all the managers of government activities, both at the federal, state, and local government.
It is expected that Federal Allocation Account Compendium will serve as a guide in assessing government efforts at revenue generation and distribution. Kike Lomo Okeri reporting for Global Television News.
The Rivers State House of Assembly, led by Martin Amerwale, has called on Governor Siminalayi Fubara to sack all commissioners within 48 hours and submit a new list of nominees for appointment within the same time. The development follows Governor Fubara's denial of receiving any letter from the Amerwale-led House, which gave him a 48-hour ultimatum to present the 2025 budget before the House. In a swift reaction, the state government says the 27 lawmakers were acting on the fragment of their imagination, overstepping their bounds and further heating up the polity with their demands. As fasting continues among Muslims all over the world, residents in Kano say a relative reduction in the price of goods and services is being recorded. Global TV correspondent Idris Jibrin reports hundreds of residents are storming the market on a daily basis. His report.
It's been 5 days since the beginning of Ramadan fast in Nigeria. Markets during this important period are usually busy. From fruits to vegetables, food items to clothes, traders are smiling here. It's been long since we had this huge reduction in price. Apart from some goods from Singa Market, everything here is cheap now. We used to sell this rice at the cost of 4,500 naira, but now it has reduced to 4,000 naira. Beans is now 2,500 naira per measure, compared to 3,000 naira before Ramadan. Millet is now 1,600 naira as against 1,700 naira. According to Kano residents, most commodities price has reduced, but not as expected, which is why people's purchasing power appeared on the increase.
I used to buy this beans 3,500, 3,700, but today I bought it 2,500. I don't know whether they will continue like this or they will stop for many times.
Vegetable and other perishable goods used to be very cost, but not anymore, as the prices of tomato, pepper, onions, and other perishable goods record a sharp reduction in price. Before now, a bag of pepper cost 30,000 naira, but now is 20,000 naira. A small measure of 1,000 naira is now sold at 700 naira. Tomato used to be 19,000 naira, but now is less than 15,000 naira. While customers continues to troop in for their daily iftar shopping, food items, continues to arrive by the truckload. From Kano, Idris Jubrin reporting for Global Television News.
Imo State Governor Hope Uzodimma has reiterated his administration's committee to partner with the military in order to sustain peace and security in Imo State. Now, the governor made this known during a courtesy visit by the General Officer Commanding 82 Division Nigerian Army Enugu, Major General Olufemi Olatoye, at the Government House in Owerri. Our correspondent Amarachi Ibe reports.
Major General Olatoye and other security heads at the Sambakwe Esco Chambers. Governor Uzodimma emphasized the strong collaboration between the state government, security agencies, and the people of Imo. He assured the new GOC of his administration's continued support in creating a secure and conducive environment for residents and businesses.
On our own part, we will give you every support, every cooperation to ensure that the people of Southeast and residents here will have peace and be able to go about their businesses without fear of any molestation. It's our hope that you will continue with the speed and determination you have used all this while to ensure that the public interest will be protected.
Governor Uzodimma noted that the state aligns with the President Bola Tinubu's renewed strategy for national security and highlighted the improved interagency cooperation in the state, which he said has contributed to significant security improvements. He urged the ministry to intensify efforts in ensuring stability across the state.
I inform you that in Imo State, we have the best interagency cooperation, where both the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Police, the DSS are working together. For the past 6 years, we have never witnessed any rivalry among our agencies in Imo State. It's a credit that we also want other states to emulate.
In his remarks, Major General Olatoye said his visit was aimed at familiarizing himself with the state's leadership and reaffirming the military's commitment to its security mandate. He commended Governor Uzodimma for his proactive approach to governance and encouraged the continued use of non-kinetic strategy in tackling security threats.
The visit is actually designed for me to ascertain the operational readiness of Sector 4, appraise the challenges as well as their successes. It is equally a time for me to appeal to Your Excellency that you should not retire in the coordination of all non-kinetic measures to eradicate all threats to security in Imo State.
As security remains a priority, both the Imo State government and the Nigerian Army are strengthening their partnership to enhance peace and development across the state. From Government House Owerri, Amarachi Ibe, reporting for Global TV News.
Let us turn to Benue State now, where the government has signed a one-year work plan of understanding with United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund for the promotion of nutrition among children and women. The Deputy Governor Sam Ode, on behalf of the government, assured them of maximum cooperation in order to provide basic resources for the Benue child. Felicity Indere reports.
The Memorandum of Understanding between the Benue State Government and UNICEF is for the improvement in child indices in the state. The Chief Field Officer, UNICEF, Enugu Field Office, Ms. Julia Chiluwe, says the multi-year work plan of 2025 to 2027 is the joint commitment towards the realization of the rights of children and women in the current country program of cooperation of 2023 to 2027.
We are requesting for the Benue government in terms of their domestic resources to allocate at least 1% of its domestic budget towards strengthening of the primary health care. So it means if the government is able to put such amount of money for PHC, we'll be able to eradicate zero dose, polio, malnutrition, and the like.
The Deputy Governor Sam Ode, who performed the ceremony on behalf of the state government, said the role of UNICEF towards nutrition social policy development can never be overemphasized, assuring them of maximum cooperation to the full implementation of the work plan.
For us, we consider it as an emergency, and I must tell you here on behalf of the governor that we are committed to our own part of this bargain. All the counterpart funding we need to put in place to match whatever you are doing so that we can deliver on the expected objectives. The Benue State government is going to do so.
The UNICEF Chief Field Officer said, with due process and diligence, the work plan will be achieved as it aligns with the present administration's policy to adequately manage the well-being of vulnerable people in the state. In Makudi, Felicity Ndere, Global TV News.
The Catholic Bishop of Enugu Diocese, Most Reverend Callistius Onoga, has urged Nigerians to use the 2025 Lenten season to seek true repentance and shun evil. Onoga made the call in his Lenten message to Nigerians in Enugu. Lent is the 40-day fasting and praying period by Christians all over the world, leading to Easter celebration. A militant group, Niger Delta Rescue Movement, has threatened to attack an oil installation in the Niger Delta region over the seizure of allocation due to Rivers State. Also, the group under the protection of Niger Delta Rescue Movement called on all indigents living in Rivers State to leave in their interest and safety, pointing out that hostilities are about to begin. They said the action of the Martin Amerwele-led 27 lawmakers is to cause agony in the state and pave the way for the declaration of a state of emergency. You are watching the live broadcast of AM News. When AM News returns, WHO warns that U.S. funding cuts threaten global progress in battle against tuberculosis. We have those details from the world of business as well as more stories from foreign and sports segments for you right after the break. Please stay with us.
Do you know that global television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch global television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to global television.
You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is AM News on Global Television. Thank you for staying with us. The World Health Organization, WHO, has cautioned that severe funding cuts, particularly by the United States, are threatening decades of progress in the battle against tuberculosis, TB, which remains the world's deadliest infectious disease. The health agency warned that essential prevention, testing, and treatment services are collapsing, putting millions at risk. The hardest hit regions include Africa, Southeast Asia, and the Western Pacific, where natural tuberculosis programs depend heavily on international support. In sports now, Nigerian senior women's football team, the Super Falcons, have held on their 36th position in the latest FIFA Global Rankings. The Super Falcons also remain the top-ranked women's football team in Africa, underscoring their dominance on the continent. South Africa, Morocco, Zambia, and Ghana are the other countries in the top 5. World Football Chief Gianni Infantino says the 2026 World Cup final in New Jersey will make history by having a Super Bowl-style halftime show. He says Goldplay band members Chris Martin and Phil Harvey will determine the artists who will perform. Infantino revealed the decision following a meeting of FIFA's commercial and media partner in Dallas ahead of 2026 tournament, which will be co-host in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. We end the AM News as we take a recap at our top stories again. The Senate has suspended Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uganga, representing Kogi Central, for a period of 6 months. And on the foreign scene, the World Health Organization (WHO) has cautioned that severe funding cuts, particularly by the United States, are threatening decades of progress in the battle against tuberculosis (TB), which remains the world's deadliest infectious disease. And in sports, Nigerian senior women's football team, the Super Falcons, have held on to their 36th position in the latest FIFA Global ranking. And that's it on AM News. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen by using Global TV NG. You can download the Global TV Nigerian app for Android and iOS device to keep track of our broadcasts. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching. Good morning. Know that Global Television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world.
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch Global Television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
A Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper reviews and latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
know that global television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch global television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
A Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper reviews and latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest. The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning. You are welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is Global Morning on Global Television, and I'm here on the program. We're going to be talking about something that's very that hits home, talking about obeying traffic laws. And now you see what happens on the roads, right? Yeah. How motorists, they do not obey the traffic lights, talking about the traffic lights not even working and all of that. But let's just see what the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, has to say. They have appealed to the Nigerian public to comply with the traffic laws and regulations with a view to reducing high rate of crashes on the roads. Now, the FRSC spokesman Olusegun Ogunbamide says the public support and cooperation is essential in ensuring a safe and secured motoring environment. Ogunbamide, who expressed concern over the high rate of casualties on Nigerian roads, attributed it to impunity and disregard for traffic laws. Now, looking at this very critically, Godwin, what's your take when it comes to traffic laws? I, for instance, I've been in, when the traffic lights are on, the red, the green, and, you have to go when it comes to the yellow. And sometimes these traffic lights do not even work, causing problems on the road. Let's start with that first before we delve into the traffic laws. Like, I have been there 15 minutes and others behind because I stopped. I obey traffic laws, really. And I hear that there's this capturing that goes on with the cameras and all of that. So no one wants to pay that 20,000 naira when you go to renew your papers or something. So I stopped and I was there for 15 minutes, sometimes more than. And cars behind me started honking for me to go there, as in, madam, this light is not working, we've been there. And this is what we see on the roads. The traffic lights are not working. It's just there. You might just see the red, and it just stays there for like 20 minutes, and that is it. Have you experienced such before?
Yeah, most definitely. Before now, Juma, we've spoken about the army officer that I said the video was making the round. That said they cannot return back to town and come and be obeying traffic law.
Exactly.
Stayed in the bush. Now, to a very large extent, again, I think the traffic laws the traffic lights and the traffic laws in Nigeria is for a selected few.
Okay.
Because we've seen some SUV cars, sport utility vans and vehicles violates traffic laws.
Yes, we have.
Showing the red for you to stop.
Convoys. I have seen.
Convoys. When you even say convoy, it's just an understatement. We've seen security persons violate.
Individuals that hold public offices. I have seen.
And it's not just one. It's not twice. It's not just. The thing is, when you might even want to arrest these individuals, next thing you hear is the rhetoric. Do you know who I am? So those rhetorics now form the conversation.
Yes.
First person now introduce himself to you. I am
this. I'm
automatically you have to let him go because he has some form of immunity.
High ranking.
So if we talk about the traffic law and traffic light violations, this is where the conversation should even start with. How effective are people within the upper class? How effective has their compliance been with the traffic law situation in the country? Before we now start talking, take the conversation down to the ordinary individual that we find here and there. Have the upper class been able to comply effectively in ensuring that they obey traffic laws? Now let's bring the conversation again back home. We'll now talk about the traffic laws that are not working. First, most traffic laws, especially in the Federal Capital Territory, were designed to have some form of a camera that when you beat the traffic law, it snaps you automatically. Then submit your details back to a particular database that you can now be sanctioned.
Exactly.
That's what you expect it to be.
That's why
when you were in the traffic lights for more than 15 minutes.
Sometimes 20. I usually be walking. I was like, well, I'm not moving.
Sometimes it will just show you the red will be like that.
And it's so painful.
I don't think like, you're not conversant with this light. You're like, I'm the only person that is not aware that this light doesn't change. You can be there in front of that light for more than 30 minutes.
Yes, I said it has happened to me.
The fear of 20,000.
If you have 20,000, but the truth is, you don't want to disobey this traffic because you don't know what lies ahead when you are going to renew your papers or issues like this. I try to. I've always been a very good girl. For everyone that knows me from school days, I don't want any issues when it has to do with the law and all of that. But at the same time, we see this sort of things, and the traffic lights are not helping matters. Yesterday, I was coming. Okay, I went to. Okay, let me just give AYA, and the light was just there. And everyone was there. It was people were honking behind. I was like, I'm not moving till it shows green. But I was there.
You're even lucky.
At this point, I just zoomed up.
The one that secretariat here will keep you for 99 seconds, and it will just allow you move for only 20 seconds.
Oh my God. Oh yes, I've experienced that also.
That one is the most ridiculous. So first, all of those traffic. So when the road safety the spokesperson was talking about compliance to traffic laws,
exactly,
and all of this, yes, the right step in the right direction, because we need to, as a people, if we want to forge ahead as a country, we need to start looking at some of these things we call.
It's very important. That's the thing. This is the rebranding that we keep talking about. When we obey traffic laws, most individuals do not obey traffic laws, which is sad. Most individuals in public offices do not obey traffic laws, and people behind that's particularly if you are in that particular department to set the time as well. I don't know, are they sleeping or they forgot or they've not resumed? I know it's a machine, but you need someone to actually click it and check it once in a while. Is it meant this? Now we talk about maintenance. How often has it been maintained for it to keep up speed with the light? All these things are very important. We need answers to all of this, because it's not fair when you see this sort of thing. And the worst part, the most painful of it all, is when you have waited for so long in front of the traffic light and people keep honking behind you, go, go, go. You're like, oh goodness, what sort of temptation is this? And then you want to, immediately you drive past, you see green. Or someone, you just see the green at the side and you just wonder, gosh, why did I listen to these people? And because you're up front. But it should be looked into. It's very important. And of course, we need to check it. Some of these traffic lights are not working. So when you say we need to obey traffic laws, that's one of it. And casualties, yes, because oncoming vehicles going left, right, center. Because I've seen a situation whereby there's a vehicle coming from the left to right and you're going up front, and then the traffic light is telling you this, and people are just, you don't know what to do. It's very confusing at times. So the necessary action needs to be done when it comes to traffic lights, and the needful needs to be done. It's very important. Seriously, Godwin.
And I think to a very large extent, to further add to what you've said, I think we can do better in terms of our traffic laws in the country. Looking at its implementation, we can do more better. If we can do more better, if at all we want to get this right. But first, can we get road safety personnel not close by 4 p.m.? Because what has tend to be like the obvious is most uniform personnel, even within the Federal Capital Territory, they close by 4. That's like a normal trajectory. When you get to the roads where you ought to see personnel walking by 8, because the traffic lights and the traffic laws are not meant for the day, for daytime
only,
when it's day. Because when you go out in the night, for those of us that of course journalists, we do a lot of jobs in the night,
of course,
when we drive in the night, you observe that literally all the traffic lights are literally not working.
No, they're not. But some are, because and of course the traffic light is an avenue for these miscreants to do their evil deeds. I've seen, like I told you, my younger sister came into town, and we were in front of the traffic light when someone came and put his hand into the car and snatched her phone. She just wound up, I don't know, she was looking at something, I don't know. Immediately the guy came out, where we just stopped, and these individuals come out, and some people will tell you, when it's nighttime, I do not obey traffic lights because of this sort of things that happen. People come in, snatch your phones, take your bag. Some people are being robbed when you are actually obeying law and order as when you're in front of the traffic light. So some people, that's why some will justify that at night, I don't obey traffic lights. I won't mention myself. No, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that that's what it is, because the fear of the unknown, of these miscreants coming out at night to jab you or take your phones at gunpoint and all. So people just, when there's a traffic light, no, people they don't even wait. When they see the red, no way, they're not waiting because of what is going to happen around, because security, they say, is key, very important.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking about this, and let's quickly go on a very quick break, because I'm really excited to talk about the Obasa issue, him coming back into the Lagos State House of Assembly. Let's quickly go on a very quick break. Global Morning still continues. Stay tuned.
Do you know that global television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch global television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
A Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper reviews and latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest. The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning. know that global television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch global television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
A Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper reviews and latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest. The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning. Do you know that global television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch global television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
A Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper reviews and latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest. The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Welcome back. Obasa returns as Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly has significant political implications, primarily centered around power dynamics, party politics, and potential for conflict. Firstly, Obasa's return strengthens the grip of the ruling All Progressive Congress on the legislature. This gives the party greater control over lawmaking processes, potentially leading to more favorable legislation for the party's agenda. However, it could also fuel dissent and tension among opposition members who may feel their voices are being silenced. Secondly, Obasa's return could lead to an existing political rivalry within the All Progressive Congress, particularly between him and Governor Sanwo-Olu. This could lead to a power struggle and hinder effective governance, potentially affecting the state's development. Obasa's return could create a perception of political instability, particularly if it is seen as a victory for factional interest within the All Progressive Congress. This could deter investors and have negative impact the state economy in general. The long-term implications of Obasa's return may be seen, if not clearly, but though perceived as its presence could have a negative impact on the political landscape, even of Lagos. Today, I'm being joined by Mr. Afeez Ismaila, who is a political finance expert and a tax consultant, and we'll be talking about Obasa's return in the Lagos State. But first, let me welcome you to Global Morning, Mr. Afeez.
Yeah, good morning. Thanks for having me.
All right. So, Mr. Afeez, let's even talk about Obasa's case this morning. What are the potential consequences of Obasa's return for the relationship between the Lagos State government and the legislature?
Well, first of all, when you look at Lagos State, the way Lagos State politics runs is different from the way politics runs in other states in Nigeria. We need to first establish that fact. Lagos State is a state whereby when decisions are taken, it's always been collective. And that is why you see that no sitting governor in Lagos will tell you, I can anoint a candidate. It has to be a collective decision. And that is also the reason why you see that in Lagos State today, they have an internal mechanism that settles any issues whenever it comes on board, and which is the most powerful, which everybody know, the Governor Advisory Council, which for is also part of the political structure of APC that they are about. So, for me, the legislative have their own functions to do, and the executives also have their own functions to do. You recall that when this crisis happened, you will never see the executive interfering in it throughout the process upon the restatement of the Speaker of Right Honorable Obasa. So Lagos is a state where high level of decency. You have too much of intellectual people. You have too much of people who are even informed. Even though if organizer in Lagos State is informed about what is going on. So it's not a state that you can just come and just tell people this is what needs to be done. So there's an organized setting. But what I noticed that just because a key man is too busy now, he has a national assignment now, things like this is happening.
By the key man, you mean the president?
Yes.
All right.
So what will happen if he's not available to meddle into the affairs of Lagos State again? Because whether we like it or not, the key man have to leave one day. That's just the reality. Then who takes over? So I see a potential issues, not even in 2027, probably in 2031, or let's say 10 years from now. Because I graduated from Lagos State University, and I was a strong student union leader while I was in the university. First, I'm a key man in my faculty of management sciences, which everybody believes to be the toughest faculty as far as LASU history is concerned, coupled with the father from accounting department. So I play union from my day one as an 100 level till I graduated. So I know what it is when you play politics in LASU. And anybody that play politics in LASU will know that, no, for you to play politics in LASU, there's an extra credit to it.
Now, the people who think are boys yesterday, as I speak to you now, they are men. And they are holding positions. And they are watching. So, if care is not taken, the revolution can happen in the coming years. Not apart from that. Now, even though the core indigenes of Lagos State are warming up, that the areas where people who are not from Lagos will just take positions, we don't want to tolerate that anymore again. That one is also going on the sideline. And as I speak to you today, in the political space of Lagos, people that are even contesting, go and check, about 70% are last whites, are people that graduated from LASU, to show that that unionism, that set of people who play unionism in LASU, is getting to a stage whereby they are really going to they will be in charge of the political affair of Lagos. And it's going to be a different ball game, because these are people that, that's why they are playing politics. As I speak to you today, they are role models. But I can give you an example. Oshinere Adewale is a doctor today. He was a speaker when I was in 100 level. No, 200 level. He's a doctor today in one of the Nigerian tertiary institutions. My co-colleague Ajasa Senapon, who happened to be my course mate, is a chartered accountant. He was a speaker, he's a chartered accountant, and is the MD of a microfinance bank. I can begin to mention like that we all play politics and we are holding good positions today. So we just say no, because then there's a belief that anybody that joins unionism are touts, they are drop out, they are people that doesn't have anything upstairs. But I can tell you, majority of us are doing well as of today. So if care is not taken, the people that they think are boys yesterday, they are men today, and revolution can happen. So in Lagos, for me, the legislative and the executive have their own different functions. This is a legislative matter, it's not an executive matter. So let's deal with it in the legislative way. Both of them have their own different agenda and they have their own different constitutional responsibilities.
This is interesting. Now let's even look at this issue from the perspective of Lagosians right now. To a very large extent, Lagosians will say that their trusts have been betrayed because their representation, which the candidate that they want to represent them was taken out of the office, was forced to resign by GAC. But what do you make of the perspective of Lagosians right now? Do you think that at this point that Lagosians will want to give Obasa the confidence and also the support that will help him to pilot the affairs even in the House? Then secondly, what's your response? How will you react to the members of the House right now looking at Obasa that they give him their total support? Do you think that also the House will want to give him a heads up in terms of the discharge of his duty as a speaker in the House without majority support of the House as it stands?
Thank you for that question. Let me first speak from the Lagosian aspect. All of us can be honorable. Somebody have to represent us. And the person represented is coming through a platform, which is the party. What has been demonstrated is that the party supremacy supersedes personal interest and decisions, whichever way we want to look at it, for us not to just go into details. That is what has actually played out. And that is why I'm praying that we get to a level where in Nigeria, our electoral act will be amended, where it will allow independent candidates to contest. Because the reality is that if the party is asking me to go and do something, to take a decision, which I know that the people who gave me that mandate will not be happy, then, and I know that if I should play in line with my own people's mandate, I will have a proper recognition. Because the consequence is that if some of them doesn't downstone to the party, they may not get a return ticket. And I know in my mind that if I don't get a return ticket, I have alternative. I can contest as an independent candidate, and my people who knows that I stood for their own right, their own stand, they will definitely vote for me. These are things that can actually mitigate against this thing. I'll give one instance. The former chairman of my local government supported Ambody for a second bid. So when they were to carry out a re-election, he contested again for his second term. And whether I didn't see it, but that was the information I heard, that there was a directive that those that supported Ambode should not be returned as local government chairman. That was how he lost the primary election in his party. Imagine there was a provision for independent candidate, he would have contested as an independent candidate and he will win the election. I can bet it, because there are parameters to show that he was doing well and he has done well at that particular point in time. And that is one of the gaps I've seen in our political system in Nigeria. I'm so sure if you watch the day this the speaker was restated, you will notice that some honorables were not happy.
So that's why I'm even asking that at this point. Please go ahead.
They were not happy. Yeah. But the reality is that the party decision overrides personal interest, because they came to that house on a platform. That is just it. And there's nothing you and I can do about it. I came to, if the platform that brought me say do like this and I want to return, my brother, it's a selfish world, it's a selfish economy. I don't have a choice. That's why the fact I don't like it, but I have to do it. I remember
on happy. Okay, go ahead, please.
I remember Honorable Tobun of Epe constituency 1, the kind of speech he gave on that day, you will know that actually something is wrong. You understand? They have been, see, what transpired in Lagos State House of Assembly shows that this honorable member have been stomaching a lot of things. They saw an opportunity and they utilized it. And that's why I advised the honorable speaker that whether he's going to resign or not, or he's still going to continue to the end of this current political tenure, he needs to look for a way to amend fences and to change the narrative. Not only within the house, also with Lagosians too as well. Because there is a precedent on ground. You can't buy respect. You can't buy humility. You can't buy loyalty. You have to earn it. That is typical truth. You can only buy loyalty and respect from people that you are feeding. When I know I have a value in me, you have to earn my respect. Whether we like it or not, you know, right now, being a speaker, there are some people who are benefiting either directly or indirectly.
True.
And they will never want him down. They will do everything possible to make sure he comes back. So even though the new speaker who was elected and he has to resign, as I speak to you, some people are not still happy. So there are consequences both in the positive side and the negative side. On the positive side, where there will be continuation in the legislative strategic plan, because the leadership is still there. But when you change the leadership, he or she will also come with his own vision. That's the negative angle of it. So for me, the Governor Advisory Council is something I respect so much, because why? They may not be constitutionally recognized, but it has made, in terms of political stability in Lagos State, we've been able to achieve for so many years. And I know it's because we have that kind of mechanism in place. Not that there are no issues. Issues used to happen, but early we yet it comes into a public domain, because they will have settled it in-house. That's why I said, because a key man is not around, we're able to hear this. If the key man was around, I'm so sure this would not even come to a public domain. It will have been settled in one way or the other. So I salute the tenacity of the Madam Speaker for dancing to the tune of the party, and also even though the House of Assembly members, for them to even have the courage to even take that step, to say no, we don't want this person. That alone, I salute their courage. Then you 4 other members too who didn't join them too as well, I also salute their courage too as well, because everybody have everybody have their own rights and their own viewpoints. Like for me, this topic is a dicey topic for me, and I'll tell you why. From the 36 members who impeached the speaker, one of them is like a senior brother to me, representing my constituency. We dine and wine together at times when we are home for festive period. The other side, where we have 3 members joining the speaker, I have one person there who was my political mentor when I was in school. He taught me how to write political release. In fact, the first release I wrote in my life, he wrote it, he put his name, he later removed his name, he said, put your name and go and distribute it across the university campus then. the various signposts, and that was why I begin to shine. People begin to hear my name. Then I now started breathing on that, and I started writing political release. You see how dicey it is for me. But the reality is, like I've said, I salute the tenacity of the Madam Speaker for down to the tune of the party to bring down tension, and also the courage of the House of Assembly members to show that truly they are independent on their own. They don't just have to listen to anybody before they take decision. Whether we like it or not, a president has been sent that so person was impeached, and they took that decision within themselves. But for the speaker, for 36 to be against you, you need to do more work. You know, you can't blame me. He joined, I think, since 2007.
Yeah.
So he has been there for so many years.
So many years.
When you know too much,
yeah,
and when you have too much of experience, it has its own consequence. Because there are times that you do something unknowingly you won't know. And that is where God's grace comes to play, when you are too loaded in things. Because you'll be doing some things and you won't know that what you have done has wronged another person. And those are things I see. And that is where you now need to see how you can mend fences with his people. Because you are just like we're in seconds when we have class captain. And all of us say we don't want the class captain. And the head teacher came and said, no, this person must be class captain. Yeah. You know, from there, you start losing your respect. Now, how can he gain that recognition and that respect? Is what he gain. And I can also gain the recognition of Lagosian. Because what we heard, because I didn't see it's an information, is that Madam Speaker will resign, Obasa will come back, then later Obasa will resign, and they will now elect a new speaker from, is it West Lagos State or so. That is an information. I don't see any certified public document towards that part. In fact, as I just said, what I was even hearing when I make one of my findings is that Obasa resigning was not even part of the deal.
So the rumors making around is this all a drama?
It's just a stage play. It's not a stage play. You know, that is when you need to respect elders. You know, when they are cutting tree in the bush, it's the elders that will know where it will fall.
Yeah.
Some of us we are still learning. Some of us who wants to take over tomorrow, we are watching. And precedent is being set. Whether we like it or not, reference will be made back to the activity that is going on now. So the reality is that for all the people that are there, they should know that it's either they write their name in gold or they write their name in other features.
Yeah. So let's even, speaking of precedents, Lagos has always been known to be a center of excellence, where they set the standards and allow others to follow through. Right now we're seeing Lagos State Speaker allegedly being removed from office, and a body that is not recognized, you said is not recognized by the Constitution, has meddled into the affair, and by one way or the other, be it drama, we have Obasa returning back as the Speaker of Lagos State. This has become a stance right now. As it stands right now, this is the position of things. Looking again at the Nigerian political landscape, won't this send a negative signal and affect our nascent democracy as it stands right now?
You know, you've said something. You said Lagos State has a standard while others follows. You know, we can have constitution, fine. In my house, I can still come that apart from this constitution, for us to achieve a better result, let's also come up with some new rules. Is allowed. So whether Governor Advice Council is constitutionally recognized or not, Lagos State have seen it as a structure, as a system for bringing political stability. And whether we like it or not, from record, Lagos State policies have been stable for over the years. So let's remove the aspect of whether constitutionally recognized or not. It has been instrumental to the political development of Lagos State.
All right.
So we need to establish that fact. However, like I've said, we need to do something. What is that something? Let's have a situation whereby we can have an independent candidate. So even though, if this body is giving a directive, and I know that this directive will not augur well with the people that have put me there, I will follow the decision of my people. Yes or no?
True.
You can't blame on the people that are there that they have to stand, they have to follow the party decision. You can't. Because that is the party that put them there. You can't buy the finger that fed you.
True.
You understand? No, we need to be diplomatic about this thing. No, when I see some people talking anyhow, I say it's because you are not there. The reality is that if I'm right on the board of Obasa too as well, and I was impeached like that, I would look for a way to come back. It's a selfish world, it's a selfish economy. Whether we like it or not, some people are benefiting from the fact that he's a speaker, either directly or indirectly. You don't think those people will be happy? You don't think they'll just look for things to just go like, no. The solution we need is, if it's possible, next election, let there be independent candidates. People like me can contest for Lagos State Governor. I don't need to go and be lying, prostrating for one old man somewhere and say, please, I need you to support me. All I need is that INEC should just put there, for you to be an independent candidate, you must have certain percentage of endorsements. If I can achieve it, I should be able to contest for governor, I should be able to contest for House of Assembly, I should be able to contest for any position of my choice. Nobody is too small to rule. It's all about experience and exposure. Holding a political office is not about age. I tell people, it's about your exposure, it's about your experience, it's about your capacity, it's about your courage, which is key. You can be old and you don't have the courage, but you can be small and you have the courage. I became the General Secretary of Faculty of Management Sciences at 300 level unopposed. It has never happened. It has never happened. I became the chairman of the committee of Lagos State University Student Union at 300 level, a standing committee. It has never happened in the history of LASU. There. So it's not about age, it's about the courage. You have the courage. We need people that have courage to rule us. See what the president is doing. It's courage. Decisions that other presidents could not take, he took it from day one. He has not even stepped into Azorel. Subsidy is gone. What happened? Did they even fall? Heaven did not fall. It's about courage. So looking at the aspect of Lagosians, fine. The Lagosians will not be happy, but the reality is that party decision supersede any other decision. The party has taken a position, they just have to follow.
So we're setting a very good or negative political trajectory right now for the country to follow, because the center of excellence. So what are other states going to copy right now from Lagos?
Every state has its own dynamics. The way I run things in my house does not mean the way you must run things in your house. Like I say, Lagos is full of intellectuals, people who are well exposed. An ordinary organizer is well informed. Putting that mechanism in place has settled so many scores before now. That's why I said, just because a key man is not around, we are hearing. Do you know how many decisions, how many issues that have been settled that in previous years that we didn't even come to the public domain? That's why I said, if care is not taken, who takes over 10 years from now?
All right, Mr. Hafiz, let's come back to this Lagos State matter in itself. Obasa has been on that seat for years.
Yeah, for more than 8 years.
Some of the allegations that have been leveled against him first have not been investigated. Neither have we gotten a feedback from GAC, which is the Governor's Advisory Council. Lagos is full of intellectuals that can resolve issues, that can investigate issues, that can come to conclusions to an issue. But nothing has been said about Obasa's issue, about alleged allegations that were leveled against him. Now, looking at all of this, and Lagos is supposed to be the center of excellence, are we not sending a negative light out there that Lagos is becoming the center of excellence right now, legislative-wise, for irregularities?
Oga, you know, Nigeria, the more you look, the less you see.
Oh.
Are you aware of that?
I'm hearing from you now.
Okay, the more you look, the less you see. The first thing is that Governor Advisory Council is not a EFCC or ICPC. It's just an internal mechanism.
But if it's an internal mechanism, and they're not subjecting Obasa to
well, you don't
legislative scrutiny.
Yeah,
is Lagos State government not wanting that matter to be investigated upon?
No, the reality is that you and I don't know what is going on at the background.
Because it is an all-progressive Congress issue.
We don't know what is going on.
It's going to be swept under the carpet.
No, it's not going to be swept under the carpet. Okay. No. That's why I say you and I don't know what is going on at the background. You know, for security reasons, it's not all information we make public. You understand? But let's just keep watching. Because time will tell. Because whether I like it or not, it is already in the public domain that the person in question has been alleged of certain misconducts. So we have to keep watching. Because for me, I would like to see what I know. I won't like to see what I don't know. I have to say things I can beat my chest on. When somebody alleges you, does not mean you've done that thing. You understand? You have to prove your real that truly what you say I've done, truly I actually did it. The question is there any public document to say this person did this thing? You understand? So these are defining. So for me, like I said, the people there know what they are doing. With time, we will know exactly what is going on. 2027 is around the corner. And if care is not taken, and if this is not being put in proper perspective, with the way I'm seeing things, revolution can happen.
Okay, so let's even look at the injunction gotten from the courts for first the reinstatement of Obasa and other things that followed after that process. Which of course we saw Obasa and literally 3 members of the Lagos State House of Assembly conducting plenary based on certain instructions. Now, looking at this and knowing fully well that majority of the House have spoken that they don't want Obasa. Yet Obasa returned as Speaker. Doesn't this say again that the Lagos State judicial system has become a caricature to the growth of Nigerian political system?
No, judiciary is different from legislature.
Yeah, because I'm saying that at this point, more than 30 lawmakers have come out to say this is the speaker we want. And somebody goes to court because he was dissatisfied with the outcome of what his members of the House have said. And the court right now, because we're saying talking about Lagos State right now, because Lagos State is the center of excellence. So the court gives its verdict that contradicts what the people have said as a standing rule that dictates the tune how to become a speaker of the House, of the Lagos State House of Assembly. Doesn't this again
with the
doesn't the precedent
right that the speakers conducted with the four members? When they want to do preliminary, there are procedures. I'm not a lawyer, but from my little knowledge, the reality are there are procedures. The question with that stand, there are procedures. Notice must be given. You can't just conduct preliminary with just 4 members. You understand? Where notice being served, at that point, who was the legitimate speaker? Those are things we will check, we will look at. You understand?
But even for the start with, he went to the House. He was given full access. Security, what they call them, protocol 8 were restored. And at that point, he was given all the assistance that he needed. And he walked into the house, and he can even tell you to go out because he was asked to be the speaker. Now this is coming from a legislative point of view that literally contradicts the standing rules of the Lagos State House of Assembly. Is Lagos not setting a system of a caricature of the judicial of the democratic systems, and also making a caricature of the whole legislative proceedings?
I won't say so. You see, everybody will surely have their own way in doing one or two things. Like I told you, Honorable Obasa has been there for so many years, and whether you like it or not, you understand the internal mechanism of the House of Assembly. You understand a place that you've been for so many years. So the reality is that what is the legality of what he has done on that day? You understand? And whether you like it or not, that is have to be put under the carpet, because a new position, we have a new position now. Because the person who resigned was not forced to resign. He resigned voluntarily. And it's still the same member that also restated him back. So you see that is already under the carpet. When you are having battles, you have to be, and you are trying to win a battle, you'll be looking for various avenues to get out of that battlefield, which can be in different forms. What makes you a warrior is when you go to war and you come back. How you do it, nobody cares. So there are some things that even though intelligence will just make you to play around. For me, The question is, what is the legality of what has happened on that day? Does it really stand? You know, whether you like it or not, no matter how bad the Right Honorable Obasa could be, he will still have his own loyalists within that national that House of Assembly complex. There is no how. So those people can breach protocol for him to have his own way. Do you understand? You know, we need to, you know, I told you, I said, it's a very dicey situation.
So again, if I'm looking at it from another perspective. Won't this again tear the Lagos State House of Assembly into two factions?
You know, that would be very difficult. You know why? You know, I'm a Yoruba boy, and respect is something that we don't play with. I came from a culture whereby, even though you and your senior brother are having issues, and the junior one, the senior brother is the one that actually messed up, they will start the junior one to Dobale for the senior one. So I came from
for non-Yoruba speaking people, Dobale simply means to prostrate.
I came from that kind of culture. You understand? So you know what transpired is that we have people who came into this issue, like I heard of Olusegun Oshoba and Pabisa Akonde. No, these are elderly statesmen. They can't say A, while some people will say B. It's not possible. Respect has to be given to your others. You understand? And that is where you see that even to the other state, you will have been seeing placard. Why did there is a state? It will happen. Because that respect is still there. What is burning out? Let me tell you, the somewhere what is burning out. It's not that Right Honorable Obasa have that capacity to just restate himself. What is literally burning out is just respect for elders, as far as I'm concerned. But if you look at the mathematics, it wouldn't have happened. It's just burning out of respect that no, this elder has spoken to me. I just have to take that decision. I remember when my mom and my dad normally have issues. When my dad will have make up his mind that my mom doesn't have to go. The moment some elders come and tell him, no, that decision, you have to reverse it. My father will still reverse that decision at the end of the day. So I came from that culture. So what is really burning out is, that is why I said, I salute the courage of the 36 members for taking that bold step and that decision. But
yeah, go ahead.
They still, respect is reciprocal. They still have to respect the supremacy of the party.
Well, speaking of being a Yoruba boy, like you've said, we've had instances where even in Yoruba states, we have factions, and to a very large extent, the respect syndrome wasn't able to amalgamate and be able to solve that lacuna, that vacuum.
We can't be the same. I told you.
So that of Lagos State now, 36 people are saying we didn't want Obasa. 4 or 3 plus Obasa himself making it 4. He's saying we want Obasa.
And the party,
the majority have spoken. The minority now have their way.
Not that the minority have their way, is the party.
So the party have its way at the detriment of its party members.
Not at the detriment of the party, that is their position.
The position of the party at the detriment of taxpayers' funds in Lagos.
It's not about taxpayer fund, that is the internal mechanism that they are running.
The party's interest over the larger interests of Lagos State.
That is what I've said, Oga.
We've seen We've seen Sanwo-Olu coming out to support Miranda. I'm giving his consent.
No.
Okay.
No.
Go ahead.
Let us.
He acknowledged her as a speaker.
He acknowledged her as a speaker because the 36 member have nominated a new speaker.
Okay.
You understand? Yeah. We shouldn't bring Sanwo-Olu into this matter.
We're going somewhere. We're going somewhere with the conversation.
Because he acknowledged the decision of the House of Assembly member, not that he supported.
Which is the majority.
Which is the majority
that have spoken.
Who have spoken.
And the chief security officer of the state.
Yeah.
Right now, we have to acknowledge again Obasa based on court jurisdiction.
No. Obasanjo's statement, is he on court jurisdiction or it was the member that arrested him?
First and foremost, we're looking at it from Obasanjo's mandate was not gotten directly from the members of the House of Lagos State House of Assembly first, because when we saw the first sitting, we didn't see Obasa having that urge. Yeah. So we're looking at it from this angle.
Okay, let's be honest with ourselves. If you look at will I say theoretically? I want to use theoretically and practically. Theoretically, it was restated by the same members, but practically they are not happy with that decision. So it's not the court, because the existing speaker resigned and he make a speech.
Before the resignation, as Obasa emerged as the speaker,
he wasn't the speaker.
But as Obasa head section at the plenary with 4 members before.
Like I said, we need to look at that one. Is a different topic entirely for the lawyers to handle. To what is the legality of what he has done?
Okay, so let's I understand. So let's come back and talk. What I'm saying this, what I'm heading to, because you are more of a finance person.
Yeah.
You are an expert in tax and all of this, and we're looking at this conversation from the perspective of taxpayers' funds. It's been allegedly abuse of office generally. Let's not go specific. Alleged abuse of office. That's one of the things the lawmakers are saying, and there's a general abuse of office by the Speaker, Right Honorable Obasa. Now let's look at this conversation. We've talked so much about the party having supremacy, the party having this. Don't Lagosians at this point have a stand or have a right to know what actually transpired
in the allegation?
Yes, even on this matter. The investigation, does the party interest override the state mandate?
No, that is what I'm saying. You see, the allegation is a different ballgame. We have agencies that are saddled with responsibility to handle that.
Can Obasa be investigated when he's on the seat as a speaker?
Well, I'm not.
He needs to step aside for investigation to go on.
When you say somebody is alleged, you have not proved. You have not. He's not a criminal yet until you're able to prove beyond reasonable doubt. As you are seated here, somebody just give you an allegation. Would that mean you just leave your position? You have to prove beyond reasonable doubt. The question is that
by 37 members.
The question is that
36 members.
The question is that this allegation, has it been channeled to the appropriate agencies? You understand? It's just not just about many. We should just be talking. Have they channeled it? If I have something against you, and I know it's against the general public, I know where to write to. Is there any written document to say they've written to ICPC or EFCC to investigate this person? Okay, I need you to understand.
The Assembly carries an oversight function. That's the proper responsibility.
Now, have they channeled it to the rights?
No, they carry the oversight function.
Yes.
And part of this function is every other person can be subjected to the House.
Yes.
Disciplinary committee. Yeah. And you cannot be disciplined while still at the aim of affair, because it contradicts the rules of natural justice.
Yeah, I agree. So you have to step down.
You have to step down
for somebody to come up. Have they brought it up?
But I think that's one of the reasons why he was asked to step down initially.
Well, I didn't have that full information yet, so I can't really. But it was because when he was being impeached, he was not around and he was not at that sitting.
Over certain allegations.
No, he was not around, and
when he was impeached over certain allegations.
No. I mean, when the day he was impeached,
I was impeached based on certain allegations.
That's what I'm saying. The reality is that we need to check. I knew allegation was made, but the basis of impeachment, all I hear is that a lot of things were going wrong, and we just have to have a new speaker. You understand? Definitely, for you to say have a new speaker, some things you must have 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 things to have, like say this is what this person was actually being done. But like I said, I think people know the due process to follow. If an investigation was being carried out that somebody have actually misused public funds, so you understand, I think we have the proper channel to go to. So the question is that have they done that? See, I need you to understand something. I'm not in support of Obasa. I need to get. I just need to establish that fact. But I'm just being objective in my line of discussion.
Okay.
Objective in the sense that, it's a selfish world, it's a selfish economy. And not that I'm actually being happy with what is going on. Like I told you, if care is not taken, I see revolution coming out in Lagos State in 5 to 10 years from now. Because the people who were boys yesterday, they are now men today. Men today in the sense that there is capacity.
Well, you understand what I'm saying? So let's talk lastly before I let you go even on this section. Let's talk about the I asked in terms of the tax payers funds in Lagos.
Yes.
Of course, you've been in Lagos and you were raised in Lagos, you schooled in Lagos.
All my
okay, so we can actually the Omonile of Lagos.
Not that I'm Omonile.
Okay, you're Omonile.
Not just I'm a priest. In fact,
you're Omonile of Lagos.
In fact, my king currently, Oba Kayode Ogunsanwo Folarin, is the coordinator of Southwest King in Nigeria.
Okay.
Which that is where I came from. So I'm a typical born and bred. As when I say Lagos, I'm Lagos.
Okay, Lagos. Let's come back to you. So we add Hafiz Ismaila Lagos.
Lagos, yes.
All right. So let's look at it lastly before I let you go at this point. You think at this point that Lagosians don't deserve to know to see this investigation through, or to know what is going through? Is it fair to Lagosians?
What I'm even expecting is that I think there's a need for a press release.
Okay.
You understand? There's a need for a press release. People need to understand what is going on. What we are just hearing is just merely information here and here. Press release from the legislative itself, press release from the Governor Advising Council. In fact, my expectation is that they should even tell us, they will not even tell us, they should educate people like us who are aiming to hold one position or the other in Lagos State or Nigeria today or tomorrow.
The boys that have become men.
Because the boys are now men. Yes, because the courage and the capacity is there. Most of us, we've built our CV, we've built our competencies for over years, and we feel that truly we have that courage and capacity to hold position both at the state and federal level. Like I've mentioned so many names.
Yeah.
That we all play politics together. I think the Governor Advisory Council need to come out publicly to watch themselves and give us a full download of what that transpired so far, the reason why Obasa should be reinstated, the risk involved, and why they have to take that decision so that risk doesn't crystallize. So that we can learn. You understand?
Yeah.
Because whether they like it or not, they have to live one day. And some of us have to feel their position. So that when in the future, when we are taking decision of critical issues, we will have a reference point. Because a precedent has been set. That is my expectation. We need a press release who will outline the potential risk. If this person doesn't come back, these are the risks we envisage. And if this risk crystallized, these are the consequences it can have on the political structure and system of Lagos. At that point, people like us will feel relieved. As of today, I'm not. You understand? That's why I said, not that I'm actually in support of Right Honorable Obasa or the other people, but I just have to be objective in my line of discussion, because Lagos is a state I know well, and I know what is going on, and I know what has happened in the past. But to still put in summary, I beg, if it's possible, National Assembly can make this thing to happen, we need an independent candidate.
Well, I believe that the chairman of INEC is listening to you right now, and also the government is listening to you from all quarter. But time is fast spent. We have a lot to talk about even on this Obasa issue, but this is how far we can go. I want to say thank you so much, Hafiz Ismaila, for being a part of a Global Morning today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so we'll go for a short break, and when we come back, we'll talk more even on Global Morning. Please go nowhere. The show continues in a moment.
that global television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world.
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch global television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
A Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper reviews and latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
Well, interesting conversation we'll be having here, even on this table from 7 a.m. when we started off till
exactly, very interesting, especially about Obasa, reinstatement back into the Lagos House of Assembly. Detailed for us to know, and there's a lot of things we cannot come out in public and talk about. But hopefully, is the right decision made, and hopefully, there should be a striking balance. But unfortunately, for the women folk again. Another one down again, Miranda, unfortunately. To the ground. See how
the she for she, it's okay.
Well, we don't have
this. You guys always watch the she for she. From Miranda to Natasha.
What is happening? Why picking on these women?
Okay, so another one down.
But no problem. That's the way it goes. No problem. Problem. We'll get to a point where everything will be free and fair, and justice will be done. It's very important. And at this point, we have to wrap it up on the program, Global Morning. Hope you had an amazing time with us. TGIF, thank God, this Friday. Most people will be closing very early to go and relax and be happy that it's the weekend. But all the same, thank you all so much for being a part of the program. I am Juwai Mansin, and my co-host, who is always behind the man.
I didn't hear that. I am Godwin Sunday, and from all of us here in the studio, we say bye.
Welcome to Global Morning.
The death toll from flooding.
Most time our politicians just bring in policies too, for sure.
If you don't say we have several more stories.
The legislature was carefully crafted to
22.2% inflation rates as of April this year. What does that say about where we are as a country?
I think Nigeria has resorted to being resilient.
Before you call the police station, before they even leave, they take permission from
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve.
The struggle, the ASU strike.
Minister of Education volunteered and said, give me 2 weeks.
It was a lie. The president never gave me any deadline.